Now, my old friend, Tom Kiley's on the line from New York. Tom, welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me back and devoting some more time to this. It's hard to get all the points covered.
I know that, but I must tell you that your appearance last night has set the heather on fire, as we say here. It has generated a tremendous amount of interest and many compliments. So I'm glad that you've come back. I'm going to do it slightly differently tonight. I'd like you to take 5 minutes or so to just make a general case, Tom, in the way that you did to me sitting on that stoop on the sidewalk in New York City.
I'd be happy to. Let me try to encapsulate then. There, as you pointed out before, there are so many anomalies, freaky coincidences in the official story, number one. Number two, no one's ever really been brought to justice. As far as I know, George, our FBI doesn't even have Osama bin Laden as one of its top 10 wanted people for this crime. He's not been charged with it by the FBI, as far as I know. Okay, 9/11, September 2001. We can go on and on. Then even the official story, which in itself is a conspiracy theory. Okay, we know that there were more than one person involved. There was more than one person involved. And they did it in secret. That's by definition a conspiracy. But we've never really gotten to the bottom. We've got the 9/11 Commission report, which the Bush administration fought. It did not want any commission reporting on it. It was forced out of a political embarrassment to put this very poorly constructed report together by the women that we refer to as the Jersey Girls, the women who live across the river from me in New Jersey whose husbands were killed that day, and they shamed the White House. They went down to the Capitol and demanded a report, demanded an investigation, and it was only then that a bipartisan commission was put together, but in fact it wasn't truly bipartisan because it was headed by a Republican, the same party as George Bush. And on top of that, a White House operative named Mr. Zelikow was in charge of steering the investigation. All matters had to go through him and so forth. And finally, as I told you yesterday, the report itself, by rules, had to be a consensus of everybody on board. So a single person dissenting on one piece of information meant that it would not make it into the final report. Let's talk about the final report to get specific. For instance, there was evidence, physical evidence, at the Pentagon, something I didn't speak much about yesterday, that purportedly American Flight 77, a jetliner, struck the Pentagon coming in at from a certain direction, and there was physical evidence that there were light poles that were struck down by the wings of the aircraft right before it crashed in. This is what the 9/11 Commission was shown, and this is what they reported on. However, in our country we have something that's called the Freedom of Information Act, which means that a citizen or an organization can petition the government to see documents. And this has been employed to get more information about what actually happened at the Pentagon, on at least two major instances that I know of. One, to see videotape of this event happening. Now I ask you listeners to close their eyes and imagine for a moment the video that they've seen repeatedly from so many different angles and directions of the aircraft striking the South Tower of the World Trade Center and the explosion and so forth. It was played over and over and over again. Now I ask your same listeners to, in their mind's eye, look at the videotape of the jetliner striking the Pentagon. And it is not there because it's never been seen by us. Now I submit to you, George, that the Pentagon is one of the most secure buildings on the face of the earth. When I go to my ATM machine to get some cash out of my bank account, I look around and I see multiple video cameras pointed at me for security purposes. Logic tells us that there must be dozens, if not hundreds, or maybe even thousands of video cameras on the premises of the Pentagon, not only outside, but inside, in the hallways and so forth. Yet to this day, none of us has ever seen any video of a jetliner striking the Pentagon. Doesn't that sound a bit odd? If they had such video in their possession, wouldn't they have used it in the run-up to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, as has been used so many times, the video footage. So an organization called Judicial Watch, a conservative judicial watch, a legal organization, requested copies of these videos from the Pentagon under the Freedom of Information Act. And the Pentagon reluctantly released 5 frames from a parking lot surveillance camera. And these 5 frames are very inconclusive, if you ask me. They show what looks like a white streak going straight across the lawn, horizontally, to the Pentagon. And you can see these on YouTube, friends. Go ahead and then go and look it up on YouTube. Look at the Pentagon video and so forth. And what you see is 1, 2, 3, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. You see an explosion. It certainly doesn't look like a jetliner. But what it does look like is something streaking perfectly level at a low distance across the lawn. Well, there's another organization I spoke yesterday of a professional organization called Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, who feel that their profession has been defamed by the notion that they design poorly constructed buildings that are just going to fall down from a fire and or a crash in this case. There's another group who are pilots, called Pilots for 9/11 Truth, and they also feel that their profession has been defamed by the notion that these hijackers could fly these very complicated aircraft, and in some cases in very complicated maneuvers, and in 3 cases to their targets. And
well, we'll come back to that. Take a breath, Tom, while I take a pause for some capitalist messages.